Welcome into Tapping Vegas, brought to you by Better and Green. Today we're breaking down UFC Fight Night, Gilbert Burns versus Malott. Wow, Bobby, UFC Winnipeg, what a card, huh?
Yeah,
we're gonna give you
yeah.
guys, we're gonna try to give you guys 5 fights to win you guys some money. Our win streak did end last week, Bobby. You know, maybe you only tune in on our losing cards. Maybe those are the only ones you tune into. You're too busy for the other ones. But if you do know MMA, then please join us on Tapology and join us in the prediction group that we have going on over there, Better Green MMA. Shout out to Parker for winning last week. Hey, if you watch the show every week and you don't join, Bobby, I think that's de facto last place. I
I
mean, am
mean,
I
pretty
wrong?
much at that point, yeah. If you're not first, you're last.
I mean,
Goes
if you're,
for us too. But hey, at least we're out there competing, right? Man in the arena.
I
It's
I
out
need I
there.
need your hands there, but like that little image there, I'm
Yeah.
not saying that's what you are if you don't join, but I'm just
Oh, the upside down diamond. You just take a
yeah,
diamond, make a
yeah.
diamond, and
You
then
need
turn it
to
upside
open the
down. Yeah.
hands.
Yeah. Oh, you
You
only
know
gotta
what?
have 4 fingers, bro. You just gotta do
I,
4 fingers, and it looks way better. It actually might get my shit on hard.
but for real, guys, if you do want to join us and compete over there, you don't want to be de facto last place, please join us over on Tapology. We gave away a free signed fight glove just to start the year. So we just give stuff away sometimes just to say thank you, just because we appreciate the support. Bobby, the first fight we're going to talk about, I usually let you, we usually go, you take the first one. Can I take this one? Because it's my boy, Robert.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, Bobby Valentino.
Mr. Robert Valentin versus Julian LeBlanc. LeBlanc stinks, Bobby. And Valentin, he looked amazing on, I believe it was The Ultimate Fighter. And now he has lost, I believe, 3 straight UFC fights. He lost the championship fight, which was on a card, and then got Torres Finney's ball sack on the back of his neck. And then I think he got flatlined in the fight after that, if I'm not mistaken. He definitely lost. So now he comes in against LeBlanc as a minus 148. That's a big number for a guy who's never won a fight in the UFC. On the brink of getting kicked out, he's a very entertaining guy. He looks like a fighter, and I think the UFC gave him this because they don't want to kick Valentin out. They're like, man, we gave you Finney. We thought you could beat him. That was a bad performance, but maybe we'll just, one of the judges gave it to Valentin. Um, but let's give him another fight. Didn't win. They said, okay, this is your last chance. If you can't beat LeBlanc, this is it. Vegas is kind of a green minus 148. And like we always say, I'm going to mention it probably every episode just because it's so important reminder for everybody. The sharp money is almost always on the underdogs because you hit, you hit less, but you're going to make more when you do hit. So in the long run, it works out for sharps. 43% of the bets on LeBlanc, 12% of the money. Huge sharp lean on to Valentin here, Bobby. 88% of the money at minus 148. Once again, for a guy with 0 UFC wins, I think Valentin wins. The line is set at 1.5. It's just to the over 1.5. But I think Valentin wins this. I think he wins via knockout. I'm not going to give a round, but that's not going to be my official pick for the show. My official pick for the show is going to be money line because it's only minus 148. But I do think Robert Valentin via KO is a really good look for this week. I might sprinkle a little bit on it. Are you as bullish on Valentin as I am?
Surprisingly, I am. I get it that this is a controversial pick, especially going off of Tapology. 66% of Tapology users. Might start adding that in just for giggles if we
Yeah,
have time
please
and
do.
whatnot to also do that. Yeah, we got 66% of Tapology users think LeBlanc's going to win. Only 34% think Valentin's going to win.
Wow.
I'm with you though. Something about this just feels like the vibes
Mm-hmm.
are kind of right for Valentin. We're gonna see is he when his back's pushed up against the wall. We can tell that he's having trouble being the nail, right? He's good
Yes.
when he's the hammer, but he's been the nail these past 3 fights. You already mentioned losing to Loader. That was a pretty good fight though. That kind of came out of nowhere. That was
It
back and
was.
forth, and then just Loader just And we're not even going to talk about Therese Finney. And unfortunately, that one judge, while I respect the sack on the table, that was just absolutely atrocious when it comes to the legitimacy of the sport and scoring. I have to uphold that from my boy Judge Analyzer. I have to say
Yes.
that was a wild card. That was a wild score, but I respect the initiative since he was a boxing judge. I get it. And then Teba Gautier, there's no shame in getting
That's who it was.
flatlined by him.
Yep.
I mean, it's a Teba Gautier, and he's
Yep.
looking pretty good still. But yeah, there was nothing that I was watching about LeBlanc that just made me particularly just head over heels about the guy. In fact, I had to speed up his fight. That actually was his last fight before the UFC against Ryan Rahovich, middle-aged man bun guy that just you could tell was very scared for his life with a record of 6-10 and 39 years old. So if that doesn't kind of tell you all you need to know, there you go. And then before that was a doctor stoppage over Darian Weeks. Once again, everybody was hyping that up because his interview card for that was UFC vet Darian Weeks. So they're really just trying to kind of pump up LeBlanc, especially with this being a card in Canada. But yeah, for some reason, this just kind of seems like a spoiler to me for Valentine. Usually with Canadian fighters or home fighters, I pick a lot of them, but there's a few on this card that I'm actually bucking consensus on. So we'll get into that. But yeah, I think Valentine knows that he has a lot to prove at this point. And there is nothing about LeBlanc controlling distance or anything that impressed me. Valentine's weird because I know he got controlled by Finney, but he is not a bad grappler. And people were saying that he started out as a grappler. And then obviously he's got that berserker wild power. And, in all of his fights, we're kind of starting to wonder if his chin's good or not because he is getting rocked and he's getting put out. And that even goes back to his regional scene, but we'll see. Something tells me that he comes out, he rushes LeBlanc. LeBlanc doesn't just get to, do his range management and beat up a 39-year-old with a 6-10 record. I mean, 10-6 is getting pretty bad, but there's still a difference there. And I think we see some Bobby V fuck action go on. And I also think KO TKO. That's my Tapology prediction at least, but I will go money line as well just because I'm a little bit scared.
Absolutely. So that made me think of two things here, Bobby. I mean, they're interconnected. Are you saying that LeBlanc's latest fight was not worthy of the UFC signing him?
I think that the UFC is definitely desperate for that sweet maple syrup consumer base.
And that was my next question. Was he free on Saturday and he lived in Canada?
I mean, his man bun opponent took that on short notice also for another knock against him. So you got that poor guy out there that you drug out of his vegan yoga studio on the weekend. You just roughed him up and forced him to sign a contract. Probably you guys don't have firearms over there at sharpened stick point. And then you forced him to sign a contract. And then, he gets beat on. And then suddenly you're like, oh, this guy's beat a UFC vet before. And he just beat up our men's yoga instructor on Saturdays. That guy's kind of like primal, dude. He kind of like has a little bit of the primal thum going on. I've seen him doing Wim Hof breathing through his ball sack in the back room with my wife. Maybe we should give this guy a contract and, really get that bagged milk audience under lock.
Yeah. Yeah, bagged milk. Hey, I thought you were going to start talking about stolen milk valor there for a second. I didn't know where you were going with that.
There is somebody on this card that probably is doing some stolen milk truck valor.
Well, let's talk about the next fight. This is probably the hardest one in my opinion, Bobby. I think we might actually be on the same side here. But this is Thiago Moises versus Gage Young. Gage Young is Sedalia guy, man. I spent some time out in Sedalia, so that was interesting to see. You don't see that city mentioned often, so I will let you take this fight away, man.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. As you mentioned, we got Gage Young. He's a Kansas City guy, his gym now. It's kind of Kansas City area from where I was looking on Google Maps, like where the hell is this place?
Yeah.
So this is one of those fights where I want to take Gage Young, and it's very sneaky because you got you got the young bull, right? Young bull out
Mm-hmm.
there being wild, insane, and crazy, real nutty, and then you got the grizzled vet right there. So in the words of Step Brothers, which one you gonna grab by the wiener? And I think personally, at first Gage Young was looking like the pick because he's got that youth. But then I started watching his tape, and I mean, I get it. He's pretty young in the UFC. I believe this is only his second or third fight. So most of his tape is, regional scene. But there wasn't really anything on his tape that kind of moved me to think, okay, this guy is somebody who's doing something really different. He's doing something unique, or this is like a cool style that he has. Nothing was really popping off on the tape. And then what kind of sealed it for me was just the quality of competition, the quality of gym. I mean, everybody loves an underdog story. Everybody wants to hear a story about these smaller gyms, these no-name gyms. And that's not an insult. It's just there's a difference, right? There's a
Yeah.
difference between Gage Young's gym in Kansas City, Missouri metro area, and then Tiago Moises' American Top Team, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe Ignite MMA is where Gage Young's fighting out of. So there's a difference there. There's a difference with the coaching. There's a difference with the pool of training partners and sparring partners you have. And then it also came down to this. In addition to that, right? In addition to the experience edge that Moises has, and he seems old because he's been around in the UFC for a while, but he's only 31. That's like the prime of his career. So that's not old for this division at all. For lightweight, that's pretty reasonable. I mean, he has a half inch of reach, not crazy. They're both the same height, and yeah, it's Ignite Jiu Jitsu and MMA. So shout out to them. And then he's training out top team for Moises. And so in addition to all those things that benefit fighters who have been in the UFC, they have UFC caliber partners. They're at a world class gym. Not only a world class gym, American Top Team is probably top five, period, in the entire world for MMA and has been consistently for like decades now. It's also the quality of competition. Like Tiago Moises, his losses, Benoit Saint Denis, Ludovic Klein, Jared Gordon, that was a little bit but I mean, other than that, Islam Makhachev, like, come on. Like, those are elite level guys in the division. And then Gage Young, he's just got a lot to prove. I mean, his contender series fight was killing Salkid, which no shame in losing to him. It's probably one of my favorite fighters right now, Quillen Salkid. And he's just been doing pretty damn well, but I just don't know if he's going to have the edge that Moises does because Moises has only ever lost to those elite guys. I mean, Jared Gordon, as I mentioned, was kind of a question mark, but I mean, I know that there's more besides Benoit Saint Denis as I'm going back. Benoit Saint Denis, lost to Joel Alvarez. Joel Alvarez was on a tear there for a while. He looked incredible. Uh, you know, until he lost to Arman Sarukian, but it's Arman Sarukian.
Yeah.
I mean, Demirez Magulov looked great. Benil Dariush in 2018, that was his debut. He's fought a murderer's row, so that's why people are like, "Oh, he's 19-9. His record's starting to look a little questionable." He's fought the who's who of the division in their prime. He's never fought somebody that was like on a skid. He's just been fighting killers. I just think Gage Young's just not tested enough. Is another big concern. The age gap's not big enough to concern me. The wear and tear is a little bit concerning, but nothing crazy. Yeah, this is only his third UFC fight. He's 1-1 right now. He beat Jair Mahashate, lost to Evan Elder in his debut. I want him to succeed. I love an underdog story. I just don't think this is a good matchup for him. This is a bit too much, too fast. Your third fight, and you're going up against Tiago Moises. I just think this is pretty good for Tiago Moises, especially, once you're getting him. I mean, it's not as good as I was hoping. I think other people are starting to catch on, especially on Tapology. I think he's actually the majority pick right now on Tapology. Yeah. 64% of Tapology users are picking Moises. So that was kind of interesting to see. Not what I thought, but I think they kind of looked into it like we did. or at least I did, and we're kind of noticing a little tomfoolery going on here. It's just too good to pass up, especially at a plus 130 money line, minus 155 for Gage Young. You got 47% of bets are on Moises, 53% are on Young. So you're starting to see that same split. People are starting to kind of be like, okay, this is interesting. So I think to be safe, I think KO TKO, but my official for the point of the show, I'm going to go with just money line. What do you think?
This one, the more I look at it, the more trouble I have picking. In my ear, all I heard all week was just talking about Gage Young, Gage Young, Gage Young. I wanted to take Gage Young. But there's just a couple weird things. Like we talk about Vegas being asleep at the wheel sometimes. And usually we were able to catch them, right? With like a plus 400 or plus 500. But this was a really strange one where Thiago Moises opened, I believe, as a minus 115 favorite. And Gage Young was the underdog. And it's completely flipped to now Gage Young being a minus 155. That seems like a lot of movement. And did Vegas get the number that wrong? Because when I'm looking at the money splits here too, once again, sharp money usually on the underdog. Sharp money's on Young here. 53% of bets, 69% of the money at minus 155. Part of that is people were just pouring on when he was the underdog. And they've pushed him now to the favorite. And I wonder how much of that money's came back on Moises, or if people are just staying away. Like that is kind of concerning to me. 47% of the bets, 31% of the money at plus 130. That seems like the side that Vegas would want. Like you said, too. I mean, your whole breakdown of them, I agree exactly too. I think Gage Young is probably the more dynamic striker, but Moises is a better, more well-rounded fighter. And if he can get this fight to the ground, maybe he can hold him there and, just run out the clock. Maybe he can work for a sub. I just think Moises has more routes of victory. Like you said, I mean, Islam Makhachev is kind of a pud, but besides him, like he's fought good guys.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like I'm going to do Thiago Moises too on the money line at the plus 130, but man, these numbers are really, they're not sitting well with me, Bobby. And if it had opened like this is exactly why I switched off of, I forget his name, but I switched on to Peterson decision, is because those numbers were so wrong to me. And the week before, I ignored the numbers. And the numbers, they told us who was going to win. Right here, I don't think we can just blindly see this huge sharp money swing on a favorite because he was the underdog. And I don't know at what time the percentage of money was coming in. So this one, I just feel like I'm probably not going to actually put a play on it, but I'm glad we both agreed on Moises, and Tapology seems to agree with us too, because man, that feels like the play, doesn't it?
Yeah. Let's hope it's not a trick.
Yeah. We're gonna find out here real soon. Talking about this next fight, Jasmine Juzvedicius versus Karine Silva.
Yeah.
I'm just not very good at saying her name. But Jasmine versus Karine Silva. I don't want to spend too much time on this one, Bobby. Jasmine, 88% of bets. She's a minus 310 favorite. So she definitely doesn't have any sharp money, right? She has 1% sharp money, 89% of the money. Like at a minus 310, Bobby. Like that's disgusting. More money's coming on the minus 310 than the plus 250. Get out of here. We're not going to take that minus 310 either, are we, Bobby? I know exactly where I'm going. I'm going winning method. I only need one method. I'm taking Jasmine by decision at the minus 165. I don't want to talk about this fight anymore. I got nothing left for it. So I'm sending it over to you.
Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on this either. I see a Jasmine Juzvedicius decision, especially with this being in Canada going up against a Brazilian fighter. I think she just controls the pace. She does her typical wall and stall. She does her typical just clinch. She does her typical just pitter-patter distance management. It's going to be a typical Jasmine Juzvedicius fight unless it's just so egregiously, glaringly terrible for it to go Karine Silva. Oh, my God. This is a rematch. No, never mind. Never mind. I was like, what? I was like, God, this time for none of the marbles. I thought it was a rematch. I got confused there for a second. Uh, yeah, Jasmine Jasudavicius by decision. Death taxes decision. Jazz to decisionness. That's what her nickname should be. There you go. That's
Yes.
all I got.
I love it, man. We're
Jazz
gonna move.
decisionness. That's what we're gonna call her.
Yes, yes. This next fight, another very tough one. Um, and I'm very interested to see what you think here. We got Kyler Phillips versus Charles Jourdain. I feel like every time there's a Canada card, Jourdain's on it. Did he lose the last? I feel like he lost the last Canadian card.
Brother, I can't keep hearing this guy's name anymore. I'm so tired of
I
it. I'm
did.
so tired of this is another guy that they have just been dying. They have been pushing this man since 2019 when he came in, and I just haven't seen it. Okay, he beat Davy Grant last October. That was DeRitter versus Allen card. Before that, he beat Victor Henry because they're finally like, all right, we're losing our maple syrup bandwagon
Yeah.
guy here. We gotta give this man some layups. We can't keep thinking he's gonna. He calls himself Air Jordan, but we can't keep thinking he's gonna posterize bums. So we got to pump the brakes here. We got to build up this talented prospect. So yeah, they're like, you know what, buddy, you just got KO'd by John Silva. Sean Woodson pieced you up. Let's start giving you a little bit of a little bit less comp here. I mean, Nathaniel Wood, Shane Burgos beat you. I mean, he's just been so up and down in his career, man. Like, he lost to Julian Erosa before. It's just Armin Sarukian said it best about Benoit Saint-Denis. It's like they're really just too inconsistent to be like a top level fighter, and it is what it is with Charles Jourdain. However, since he has, taken this step down in competition, he's already beat a very similar looking guy in Victor Henry before. As a matter of fact, I'm not entirely convinced Victor Henry and Kyler Phillips aren't just the same guy, just slightly different
Oh,
facial hair.
come on now.
So, hey, I'm just saying, man, it would be just like the UFC, right? Like Victor Henry with just less, like Kyler Phillips is like Victor Henry with a better hairline. And they're just like, all right, hey, we're going to send you to Turkey and we're going to pay for the transplant to really sell this as a different fight. Are you down? And they're like, okay, sure, let's do that. But no, I just, Kyler Phillips doesn't wow me either. I mean, he just lost to Vincius Oliveira, who looked fucking absolutely terrible in that fight that we covered a month or 2 months ago because time is just accelerating at warp speed. Then before that, he lost to Rob Font, who's increasingly looking like a ghost. So his last win was against a washed-up Pedro Munoz like almost 2 years ago. That's never good. So Charles Jourdain, he's got that confidence back. He's fighting in front of a home crowd. He's beating up, your local Walmart grocery bagger. He's feeling himself. He's going to go out there and he's like, this ain't going to be a free throw. This is going to be an Air Jordan slam dunk. And what he's going to do once he does that patented Air Jordan slam dunk is a very mediocre, lukewarm decision. And that is exactly how I see this fight going. To thunderous applause because everybody is so high off of bagged milk and huffing it that they can't possibly rationalize it any other way as other than the greatest fight they've ever seen. So I'm going Jourdain decision. That's my official prediction. If he gets a knockout, well, bully for him. But I don't know, man. I think there's that part of Air Jourdain that's just like, you know what? I don't want to do that. I don't want to win too hard. All right. I want to go out there. I want to put that maple leaf up. And I just want to have a nice, easy little night and then go home and maybe have some of that warm milk and just take a nice little nap. And especially at minus 135 money line for Jourdain, plus 114 for Phillips. I think that is Vegas asleep at the wheel. And you get a Charles Jourdain decision at plus 175. That is just outrageous to me. What do you think?
So you're doing that instead of the money line?
I believe so, yes. I think that's what I'll go with.
Jourdain decision.
Yeah.
I thought for a while, Bobby, we might be completely in lockstep this week. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to break off from the group here. I'm going to go on Kyler Phillips. I don't think either of these guys are very good, but I think the ceiling is higher for Phillips. I think a lot of people right now are seeing, like you said, that Canadian flag, and Jourdain. He's going to be one of the biggest pops in the crowd is going to be for Jourdain. They love him up there. And then 0% sharp money in this fight. The bets percentage is how you see the handle. 82% of the bets and the money are all on Jourdain. 18% of bets on Kyler Phillips at only a plus 114. I feel like they're either asleep at the wheel like you're saying, or they're licking their lips like I'm thinking, because they're saying, man, 18% that we have to pay out at only a plus 114. I think a lot of people counting Kyler Phillips out. Once again, I don't think that he's great, but I think he's better than Jourdain. I don't think Jourdain's very good, but I'm gonna keep talking in circles here. I don't think either of them are great. Ceiling's higher for Phillips, and the money's just the Vegas money is just pointing me to Phillips, and I'm also taking the guy that's plus money. It's like if I really don't know, I'm just gonna take the plus money with Phillips, and I think I would think that Phillips would win by decision if I had to take a method, but I'm just gonna take the money line here.
Turkish hair plant going crazy.
Yo, that man, watching some of his fights, I'm like, bro, you gotta cut that. You gotta cut that off, man. Oh, all right. What a main event here, Bobby. We got Gilbert Burns versus Mike Malott. This is are these the biggest odds on the? No, Jasmine is the biggest odds that we're talking about, but still, Gilbert Burns plus 210, looking like a rag doll in his last fight. Gilbert Burns, he just hasn't looked like the Gilbert Burns that we've seen. He's lost once again to not bad competition. He's lost to good competition, but I thought he might retire after that last fight because it looked like he just quit instantly. That fight was over really, really fast. Mike Malott's a better striker. I don't think Gilbert, once again, this is 5 rounds. I don't think Gilbert Burns is going to hold him down. I don't think Gilbert Burns is going to submit him. If Malott does get taken down, I think he's going to pop back up. At least in my head, he does. The over-under is set at 2.5. Wow, juice to the under. So they're really thinking there's going to be a finish here. So that's going to point you to either the Gilbert Burns sub or the Malott knockout. Let's see what Vegas has these odds at. Malott knockout minus 135. Wow, look at that. Gilbert Burns submission plus 600. Those are your two options here. Plus 650 submission for Malott as well. Bobby, I think it's going to be Malott KO here. Yeah, and especially the minus 230 something. I think I'm going to take that, the Malott KO. Vegas sees a finish here. Unless you're thinking Gilbert Burns gets it, I don't see that happening, man. I think Gilbert Burns is at the tail end of his career. I don't know how many wins he has left. I don't think he has any wins against good/decent guys. I wish he would just retire because he's been around for long enough, and his level has really, really declined. And I'm pretty heavy on Malott this week. What do you think?
Yeah, Gilbert Burns hasn't won a fight since 2023,
Yeah.
so we're fast approaching 3 years without a win. Those last wins in 2023, Jorge Masvidal, enough said, and Neil Magny, enough said.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, and before that, you're looking at his last win was 2021. So scary stuff. He's 39, which at that division with the wear and tear that he has, that is a concern.
Yeah.
Pushing 40 with that wear and tear, very concerning. Got finished by Michael Morales. Sean Brady just absolutely dominated him. Jack Della Maddalena knocked him out. Bilal Muhammad dominated him. It's been bad. Mike Malott, his only blemish in the UFC has been a bizarre, mentioning him again, a bizarre loss 2 years ago to Neil Magny by KO TKO in round 3. But other than that, guy's been finishing people. I mean, granted, the level of competition has not been that great. especially up until recently when he fought Kevin Holland and Charles Radke. Those are big steps up in competition from the likes of, Mickey Gall, Adam Fugit, and Johan Lanise. So has finally stepped up in competition. And yeah, I love Gilbert Burns, but I don't want to, rub his nose in it. I mean, 34, that's not bad. That's the prime of his career. From Mike Malott, he doesn't have a lot of wear and tear. He's, riding, finish over Charles Radke, which is impressive. Domination of Kevin Holland. He's riding high off that. And Gilbert Burns is just, he's looking old. He's looking slow. He can't even get takedowns. He used to be a really effective wrestler for BJJ, which with his world-class level BJJ, and that's not hyperbole. That man is a grappling ADCC black belt level BJJ guy, actually earning those credentials, and that used to be a great part of his game, and he can't even get takedowns and can't even work that anymore. He can't rely on the power in his hands to be able to set that up anymore. Age isn't on his side, experience is, but I mean, when you haven't won a fight in 3 years,
the damage he's taken,
the damage, the wear and tear, the psychological impact. I mean, Mike Malott is just the guy who is primed for this event. The whole card, as godforsaken as it is, was literally built around this, since he's a Canadian and the venue was chosen because of him and the other Canadian fighters. This card has been built around. And I also agree, Mike Malott, KO TKO, and please don't make me bury my dog again.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I was never a big Gilbert Burns fan, but I've never had anything against the guy. It's sad to see. It always sucks to see the stage of their career, and especially when they kind of drag it out longer than they should. So,
right.
Hopefully, I would like to see Gilbert go out on a win, but I don't want to see him keep losing either. So, Gilbert, we appreciate you, man. We're going to get into the last segment of the show. Bobby, I'm going to start off with our Fliff finishing fighter of the week. And if you guys head over to bettergreen.com, that's better, BETTOR green.com. You guys can put a $5 bet, or I think it's buy $5 of Fliff coins is what it is over there. You get $50 of coins for free. So it's, I went over, I did it. I really enjoy Fliff. It's like a almost more of like a social media sports betting type thing. It's really cool. You create your own avatar and stuff. It doesn't look like the other apps. It's really neat if you haven't checked Fliff out. Once again, you guys get a free $50 over there. And if you sign up for DraftKings, you guys have $200 there, and all the other sports apps, sports betting apps. We have over $2,000 in promos. Just check it out once again at the website. Bobby, it's going to be our my buddy Valentine, dude. KO sub double method plus 110. I mean, we're getting plus money. I get both methods. I think it's going to be KO. Valentine does have some subs in his background. I remember he did have that aspect of his game. I'm not going to play around with it. Take the both, get the plus money, and get out.
I like it. Beautiful.
Now we end all of our shows on the Haymaker. It's a big plus odd play for you guys to make some extra money. Once again, use those promo codes on our website. Throw a little bit of that bonus cash on what Bobby has for you here. He hits them all the time. Bobby, what is the bonus bet this week?
I think I'm going to go with our boy Thiago Moises here.
Wow.
I have one in particular that I'm looking at. Let me double check here before I commit, because that's the most tantalizing one. You can get Thiago Moises KO TKO at plus 1,400.
Wow.
And if we hit that, that'd be a new record. We'd be breaking our own record. I think right now it currently stands, and we've hit that one a few times for how high the odds were. I think it was like plus 1,100 for like DDP sub, and we also hit it for like a Marab sub. So this would break our own record by 300 points.
I know we've hit 800, 900 a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah, this would definitely be the biggest one. Also, I mean, screw all the rest of the picks. That one hits, right? Like it's a winning card. And if it does hit and we do well, since we're on a lot of the same fights, Potential to break our record. I believe the record is it 18 units on a card?
It's something outrageous. It's
Yeah.
something outrageous. It's something a lot of people can only dream of.
Right. When you only give him 5 fights, right? You only give him 5 fights out. That's really hard to win 18 units on that. But we've done it before. Hopefully we can at least push for that here on this card. But thank you guys for watching. We will be back next week. And we love doing this. We're not going anywhere. I can't even tell you just how much we enjoy doing this. And thank you guys for watching. And if you're subscribed to the channel, we just appreciate you even more. Like, if you guys haven't yet, please do subscribe to the channel, like this video, and leave us a comment down below with one of the fighters that you're going to be betting on this card, because we would like to know. And just thank you guys again for watching. We really do appreciate all of our fans, don't we, Bobby?
We love Jewel. We love Jewel. See you soon, boy.
See you on the next card. Peace, guys.
Peace.